Hello, this is Becca from Willow Hill Designs, and today I thought I would do a quick video to share my completed little square for K3N Cloth Tales Weekly Stitch, and it's weeks 23 and 24, and the prompt was Crazy Patch, and also doing embroidery on the Crazy Patch little pieces. And I had shared in my video, the last video, that I had these little quilt squares that I had been making for a quilt. And so I thought I would just choose one of these squares randomly to use for my little square here for the Crazy Patch. So this was all done, the patches were done, and it's on a muslin base. And so the pieces that I would use for this type of little patchwork are just random pieces of fabric that I would generally would be thrown out, and I keep them together according to color, and little tiny pieces like this might be 1 inch by 2 inches, little pieces of fabric that I just don't really want to throw out. Little pieces like this, little things that you might generally toss. And I had made these little fabric baskets, and I have, with a bulb pin, I have the colors that are in the basket. So this is pinks and reds, and I have little baskets for all the colors, blues and greens, purples, browns, blacks, all the different colors, yellows, golds, oranges. And so what generally would be tossed out are used in these little blocks that I love to make. These are just fun to make. So the block was all done, and this is my block. And the center of this block is a little piece of Beatrix Potter fabric, which I've put in a lot of the little squares in the center, or not squares, but usually 5-sided figures. So this is some of the embroidery work that I had done on them. This is like a back stitch here with a straight stitch going out to the right, to the left, alternating, and then just a little straight stitch of blue at the end of that branch, and a French knot on those. And this is a feather stitch coming down here, and in the center of each of the feather stitches I put a lazy daisy, and in the center of the lazy daisy, that's kind of a deep pinkish reddish pink, and then in the center is sort of a peachy color straight stitch, just to kind of give it some interest. And then on the end of each branch is a little French knot on the ends of these. And then here in between these two pieces, this one spanned, I just went down this whole seam here with these two pieces. And in between these two pieces, I just alternated some straight stitches and then wove it back and forth between those, not going up and down, but kind of diagonally, to give sort of an interesting look there. And then here for this one, we have some straight stitches, and then in this blue, and then some pistol stitches out of sort of a peach or a salmon color. And then I just did one little straight stitch to the left of each of these little pistol stitches. And then I came back with a darker color, a darker sort of reddish pink on the right side of these little pistol stitches. Down here is a fly stitch in green. I don't know if you can see that really well, but a fly stitch here, and again a lazy daisy. These are all detached, and then a lazy daisy in the center of each of those, and then a straight stitch for color in the center of the lazy daisies. And over here is a herringbone stitch in this blue color. No, I'm sorry, herringbone, not herringbone, cretin stitch in this blue color, which was pretty. you can actually probably see it a little bit more here with the cat. This is the cretin. Then I came through and did a straight stitch across the leg of each of these legs of the cretin stitch, a little straight stitch, and then I put 3 straight stitches at the top of the point on the cretin stitch and 3 of the straight stitches at the bottom. I put some white French knots along the top and some white French knots along the bottom, and then I wove a purple thread up and under these 3 stitches under the center stitch, and then down under the center stitch here, up under the center stitch here, under this one, and this center, and just so on, so that it gave kind of an interesting look. And then I did a purple French knot in the center of these cretin stitches, top, and then also along the bottom too. And I felt like this looked kind of like water, the reflection of water, and maybe these flowers reflecting into the water, and that this little kitty was looking down into the water. And let's see, some running stitches here. And then lastly, I did this, I combined 2 stitches here, and this is just a lazy daisy, or a chain stitch, I should say, a chain stitch going along. And then I did kind of a fly stitch on that, and then did some French knots in between those and straight stitches in between the part of the chain up here. And I can show you how I did that. I just kind of combined 2 stitches here. So let's see. So if you're making your chain stitch, I would just go like this to make my chain. And do this across your seam as far as you'd like to go. Hopefully I'm in focus here and shot. Pulled that one a little bit tight. I wouldn't pull them too tight because you'll lose your little chain there. And I'll just do one more to show. And once you have your chain as long as you'd like it for that seam, just end it off there. And then what I would do is come up in the very center of this chain and this one. So I would just come up here, and just as if you were doing a fly stitch, coming up there and then going down in the center of this stitch, and having your loop. And where the 2 chain stitches join, I would kind of use that as my gauge to center the tacking stitch for the fly stitch. So I would just come down, and depending on how long you'd like it, I would just come down, kind of following that as my guideline, and then just tack that one down, tack that fly stitch down. And then I would come to the next one and come up in the center and go down in the center of this one, going down in the center of that chain, and then wanting to come up again where those 2 stitches join, coming up here. And you might want to keep it even here, or you may want to make it longer or shorter. You could really vary it in any way that you wanted. And then again, just tacking. And it kind of gives an interesting look. And then again, come up here. I pulled this one a little bit too tight. Come up in the center of this, oops, should come up in the center of this one first. Come up in the center of that stitch, and then go down in the center of that one, the very last one. And again, following that same kind of little guiding point there, and just coming up and pulling down. And I mean, if you wanted to, you could go up above this, you could go in between, you could do anything you wanted. And from there, I just did a French knot in the center of these little fly stitches, and then a straight stitch, which you can use a different color in these chain stitches. So I thought that that was an interesting little combination of stitches, and of course you can combine as many as you'd like, really. These were small blocks, so I didn't want to do anything too big. This I think is the biggest here of stitch work. So this one is called, this is Crazy Patch. And I just wrote on here, I took a little artistic license in a few poems that I had seen, and I just wrote on here, life is like a quilt. It's laughter and sorrow. It's pleasure and pain. It's small bits and pieces of sunshine and rain. It's a bright panorama of scraps of my life. It's moments of glory. It's moments of strife. It's a story I cherish of days that have been. It's a door I can open to live them again. It's more like a patchwork, this much treasured quilt. Its parts pieced together of the life I have built. And I thought that was so interesting, comparing a quilt to life, and I felt that this kind of said it all. And again, I just kind of chose bits and pieces from other poems. Hopefully I haven't infringed on any copyright. I'm not going to use this in any way other than in my little stitch journal here. And so this was week 23 and 24, and I just put the date down here, 6/24. So this is in my little journal, so it's filling up. I did the heart and the blanket stitch and the, what was this called? Sashiko and Boro. It was a combo. And this was Thinking on a Desert Island, and the portable pocket, and the backstory with the backs of hexagons on there, which I thought was interesting. So that's where I am so far. And thank you very much for joining me. And I'm wishing you many blessings and happy stitching. Bye for now.